Good morning, countryside. Thank you for joining me on this gray Wednesday morning. I hope you're having a great day so far. It's been early, which basically means I hope you got a cup of coffee in you. I have yet to do that, so if this is completely discombobulated, that's the reason. Anyway, I'm kidding. We are going to be in Proverbs 31, and we'll read through it. Actually, we're going to read through it in two sections because this one divides pretty easily. We'll make some comments between those sections. If you are a member of Countryside, don't forget we do have communion coming this Sunday. We've got these little cups that are individually wrapped, and so we've got those ready to go. So we'll be able to partake in communion together. That being said, make sure you register. Send in that registration form. It just helps us to know how many little communion cups to put out. It helps us to know how many people are going to be coming. Helps us to know if we're going to need overflow. We have not run into this yet since we started live services again. However, we have seen an uptick in our numbers, so make sure that you're helping us out by sending that in or letting somebody know that you're going to be there. Also, if you are a praying person, which if you're a Christian, you have to be a praying person, make sure that you're lifting up the church and those in it who are suffering and those in it who seem to be doing just fine. Everybody needs prayer every day, and so make sure you're praying for folks. I don't know if you missed our Sunday service, but we did have an announcement. Jason and Alyssa Beer have had a little baby boy, and so we are all ecstatic for that. Make sure you're praying for them and reach out to them with some congratulations. And let's do that. Anyway, let's go ahead and jump into Proverbs 31, starting in verse 1. This is what it says. The words of King Lemuel, an oracle that his mother taught him. What are you doing, my son? What are you doing, son of my womb? What are you doing, son of my vows? Do not give your strength to women, your ways to those who destroy kings. It is not for kings, O Lemuel, it is not for kings to drink wine, or for rulers to take strong drink, lest they drink and forget what has been decreed, and pervert the rights of all the afflicted. Give strong drink to the one who is perishing, and wine to those in bitter distress. Let them drink and forget their poverty, and remember their misery no more. Open your mouth for the mute, for the rights of all who are destitute. Open your mouth, judge righteously, and defend the rights of the poor and the needy. So let's stop there at the end of verse 9. Because we're taking it in two chunks, this is like the obvious break in this. In both sections, this proverb really, it talks about a lot of things. Again, we're dealing with a proverb, but it's extolling the virtue and of being a godly woman. In the first section, King Lemuel remembers the wisdom of his own mother, her warning him to remain in his right mind and not be given over to anything that would impair his ability to govern in a godly way. F.B. Meyer puts it this way. In these words of King Lemuel, we notice a mother's influence in the education of her son. A woman is never more nobly occupied than in warning her son against the seductions of pleasure and in giving him a high sense of that which is right. The sins of the flesh have been a peculiar snare of royal personages, preventing them from pleading the cause of the desolate and ministering judgment to the poor and needy. What a contrast of the glory of the sovereignty of the Lord. Jesus is really the ultimate example of a noble who has done things right. He is the king of the universe, humbled himself to be a baby, to grow and to live the life that we should have been living from the beginning, which we didn't. And then he goes to the cross and pays for pays the price for our sins. He's our propitiation. He makes right or satisfies the debt that we owe God. And yet he is king. And we see in what King Lemuel's mother says, falling short of that, because every human falls short. Don't be given over to things that will distract and impair your ability to rule correctly, to judge rightly, and to ease the affliction of the poor and the needy. And so we see a mother here who is sold out for the way things are supposed to be done according to God's plan. And she is teaching her son to do those things. to be self-controlled, to be controlled by God, to be aware of what goes on in his kingdom. We can, maybe we're not kings, maybe we're not governors, maybe we're not those people, but we can take the lesson from this that God is giving us instruction both through his word and through wise people who have read his word and studied it and understand it. He is giving us instruction in how to live. The next section actually deals with the godly wife. Verse 10, let's start there. An excellent wife who can find? She is far more precious than jewels. The heart of her husband trusts in her, and he will have no lack of gain. She does him good and not harm all the days of her life. She seeks wool and flax and works with willing hands. She is like the ships of the merchant. She brings her food from afar. She rises while it is yet night and provides food for her household and portions for her maidens. She considers a field and buys it. With the fruit of her hand she plants a vineyard. She dresses herself with strength and makes her arms strong. She perceives that her merchandise is profitable. Her lamp does not go out at night. She puts her hands to the distaff, and her hands hold the spindle. She opens her hand to the poor and reaches out her hands to the needy. She is not afraid of snow for her household, for all her household are clothed in scarlet. She makes bed coverings for herself. Her clothing is fine linen and purple. Her husband is known in the gates when he sits among the elders of the land. She makes linen garments and sells them. She delivers sashes to the merchant. Strength and dignity are her clothing, and she laughs at the time to come. She opens her mouth with wisdom, and the teaching of kindness is on her tongue. She looks well to the ways of her household and does not eat the bread of idleness. Her children rise up and call her blessed, her husband also, and he praises her. Many women have done excellently, but you surpass them all. Charm is deceitful, and beauty is vain, but a woman who fears the Lord is to be praised. Give her of the fruit of her hands, and let her works praise her in the gates. It's funny that this passage, well, the Bible in general, is looked at by our modern culture as anathema. Our modern culture hates God's word. Christianity is accused of holding women down, but that's not the picture we see painted here. This is a picture of a woman that holds God close, and she works hard for those in her care. This is a picture of wisdom and grace and love and mercy. This woman explained in Proverbs 31 is an entrepreneur. She's a leader. She is a wife. She is a mother, and she works hard. Actually, when I read through this, it makes me tired. And I go, wow, that is, the godly woman is a woman who is constantly in motion, constantly at work, and finds her joy in serving God by serving his people. And she does this, she starts at home, but then she works out. I mean, this woman is buying fields and selling merchandise, so she is an entrepreneur. She's not being held down. Her husband is not, she's not barefoot and pregnant in the kitchen at home. Whoever came up with that idea really should get a punch in the mouth. And I mean, that's not a godly thing to do, but, really should. However, when you look at what the Bible extols as Christian virtue in a wife and in a woman, it's these things that are work. They're elevating to her. This is not the definition of a subjugated person. This is a person who is trusted and is wise and teaches and shares of her wisdom. This is not an uneducated person. This woman is somebody who is a jack of all trades and a master of all trades, according to this. And why? Why is she that way? Because she loves the Lord. Because she sees value in serving God by serving his people, starting at her home, working with people outside her home, rescuing the poor and the needy. This is a woman who will receive a great reward in heaven. And she is, like it says, she is known in the gates. Her husband's known in the gates because of what she's doing. Part of a husband's glory is created by the wife that is of great repute. And so, I look at what the world says about Christianity, and I just shake my head, because the world has turned a blind eye to the fact that it's been Christianity that has elevated the status of women throughout It's history. And so as we see this, as we read this, this is someone who's sold out for Christ. And that's what we're supposed to pull from this. This is not about her own glory. This is a humble person who loves Jesus and sees the value of working for him. So hopefully that helps you with working through Proverbs 31. Hopefully that helps you with your day-to-day as you walk with the Lord. Hopefully you will. This helps you in making wise decisions and working for Him to give Him glory. So thanks for joining me. A little quick note: we have reached the end of Proverbs 31, which means over the next couple of days I'll be taking a break from doing these, and we'll start back up again next Monday. So again, thanks for joining me. Love you, praying for you. Have a great day. Big shout out to my buddy Chris. Hope you're enjoying these last few weeks of summer. All right, bye-bye.